Okay, welcome to the first tutorial for character rigging in Animation Master. What we will be doing here is creating just the geometry bones. There's different types of bones, and one set is called the geometry bones, one set is called the cosmetic bones, and one set we call the control bones. The geometry bones are what move all the geometry. The cosmetic bones are bones in addition to the geometry bones that move different pieces of geometry. And you'll see what I mean with that. And then control bones are the things that you actually animate that then animate the bones themselves. So we'll start out with the geometry bone. First thing I want to do is I want to create a main bone that we will parent everything else to. So let's go to our side view here, and let's first of all turn off our rotoscopes so we don't need them, because we don't need them. Zoom out a little bit, hit this button right here, which is snap to the grid. Go into bones mode, which is right here. You'll see there are no bones in him yet. Whatever is black, if I click right here, you'll see there is a bone here that's a default bone called the model bone. Now this bone, every point that is not assigned to another bone is assigned to the model bone. That way when you get into choreography or something and you move the model bone, everything will come with it and you won't leave anything behind. So let's start with the main bone. I'm just going to go, as I'm in bones mode, I just hit A, and I'm going to click at the origin, and then I'm going to click straight up like this and make sure the roll handle's back, and then click off. This is my main bone, so let's name that main. Okay, and I don't need to see it anymore, so let's just do that. Now, one thing I do want to do here is I want to make sure that I can move him independently of the main bone, meaning I want to grab him and drag him down, but I want his feet to stay where he is. So I'm going to put in a null, so let's right click on him, say new, null, and you'll notice it's right here. If I hit N, I can move that null up right into the middle of him. Let's go into wireframe mode and zoom in here. I can bring this up and put it right in the middle of his body. Now this will be like the center of gravity. We're not going to assign any points to this, but it will be like the center of gravity for him that we can grab and move. Now what I want to do here is I want it to be able to rotate and translate. So I'm just going to leave it the way it is. I'm not going to put any manipulator properties on it, just leave it the way it is. So from here, this is going to be a child of my main, and this is the null, and let's call it the body. From here is where we branch off and do our hips. I like to do independent hips from a back so that you can move the hips separately from the back without, how would you say, without torquing or twisting the entire skeleton up. It's nice to be able to have independent hips. There are some things we have to do to it so that it works right, but I like it. So let's start with this, and let's create the pelvis. So let's grab the null, and then hit A to add, and then click and drag. Oops, I've got my snap to grid still on. Click and drag a new bone out, and with the roll handle back. This is going to be called the pelvis. From there we want to create the leg. So while it's still highlighted, hit A. When you do that, it will automatically parent the bone you're drawing to the one that's blinking. So go to about here where you want your pivot point to be for your thigh, and drag out a new bone, and then grab the roll handle and pull it forward. This is the thigh. Do the same thing. Hit A while it's still highlighted, click and drag, and then pull this forward. That is your calf muscle, or your calf bone. Same thing, hit A, click and drag. That's your foot. And then once again hit A, click and drag for your toes. And just make sure this is flat. Okay, so let's go into our front view. As you can see, the legs are right down the middle. So let's grab the thigh, hit N, and then pull it on over. That's just about perfect right where we want it. Okay. So let's name these. This is thigh left. This is calf left. Actually, let's call it calf. This is foot left, and this is toe. Let's do it toes left. Okay. This one is named the pelvis, so we've got everything the way we need it to be. Let's go back into our side by hitting 6 on the numpad. Now grab your body. I'm actually going to move my pelvis. Just grab it and put it right at the origin there, right at the center. Body bone here, and with it highlighted, I'm going to create spine bones. So I'm going to go 1 here, one here, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here. Okay, so let's go through and name these. Just call it spine. And then just copy that spine, go down here and say, whoops, let's put a space there. Actually, let's take that space out. So just paste it in. Okay. Save him as will_rig_01.mdl. Okay, so now I've got all my spine bones set up, and now what I want to do is continue up with the neck and the head. So let's select our spine 7, hit A, and then drag your neck bone up. Make sure that the roll handle is pointed backwards. And with it highlighted, hit A, click on the end of it, and drag straight up, -90. This is the head. So let's name these. Neck and head. Now with the head here, we want to create bones for the eyes and for the jaw. So first of all, just while it's highlighted, hit A, and then drag a bone out, like this. For the jaw, and then with the head highlighted again, zoom in on your eye and start a bone right at the origin of the sphere, and just pull it straight out, and then make sure your rotation is 0, and call this one eye parent left. Okay, and then go to your front view and go up here to your eye parent left, hit N, and then slide it over till it is right in the center of that eye. So right there. Okay. And with that eye parent left, grab it and hold down Control, and while you're holding down Control, you click on that bone and drag, and it will duplicate that bone for you. So I just duplicated it. Now I'm going to drag it back on top of itself, so that becomes a child, and I'm going to name it eye left. And then I'm going to choose a different color. Let's just go lighter blue. Let's just go with that. And then, so we can differentiate the two, hit S, and then just make it bigger. Okay, so we've got that one in. Okay, so those are the only ones we need in the face right now. We're going to come in a different tutorial and rig the face for phonemes and all that kind of fun stuff, and we'll do that later. But for right now, these are the only bones that we need. So let's go to our side view here once again. Just zoom out, and we've got our hips, our legs, our spine. So now we need our arms, so let's go to our front view. The first thing we want to do is we want to create a sternum, one that will start right here. So select your spine 6 and hit A, and then just select a point on it. It doesn't matter, but just click and drag straight out. And then make sure this is 0 and this is -90. That means the roll handle is pointing straight backwards in the Z and it's perfectly flat. So let's call that one sternum left. You actually won't even use this bone, but it's good to have there for mirroring animations from one side to the other. So let's do that. So sternum left, and then a child of that, let's actually just hold down Control and duplicate that one and call it clavicle left. And then make the color different. Let's make it kind of a pink, and then hit S and size it out about there. Okay, so that'll be my clavicle bone. So the next thing I want to do is I want to make sure that this is in a good spot. Let's put it about right here. Okay, because it'll have more influence on the front than on the back. So let's move it about there. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to find the pivot point for our arm. What I want to do is I want to start about right here, go straight down the arm to the elbow, and then come straight out to the wrist, and then go down the hand. But I don't have to be attached to the clavicle here. I can actually have this offset the way I have it drawn here. So let's do that. Let's click the clavicle, hit A, put about right in the middle of the pivot point wherever you want it to be. Click and drag another bone out to the middle of the elbow. Hit A, click and drag another one to the middle of the wrist, and then hit A and click and drag another one straight out for the hand. Now go into your top view and you can start moving these wherever you need to. So let's put this one back about right there, this one back about right here, this one about here, and this one about right here. So now just grab the roll handle, pull it straight back, and it will flatten that for you. So it's, if you look here, the rotation is almost perfect. But this one's a little bit tilted, so let's do it ourselves. Let's go to our front view real quick. This one I want the roll handle pointing just like this. This one, oh, it's not attached. Let's make sure it's attached to its parent. Just double click that, it'll do it itself. Let's make sure the roll handle's pointed straight back that way, and then this one is pointed straight back. So there we go. So let's name these. This is bicep left, bicep left. This is forearm left. This is hand left. Okay, and let's save him. Okay, so now we want to do the hand. So let's go to our top view and select the hand, and while that's done, while that hand is selected, hit A, and then let's choose the base. Whoops, the hand is selected, hit A, and the pivot point for the finger is going to be about right here. Let's go to this knuckle, move this down just slightly here, hit A, go to this knuckle like that, and then hit A and go to this knuckle, or the end of the finger, and then just take the roll handles and roll them backwards so they point back towards our -Z. Now what I need to do is I actually need to move these into position. They're level with the hand, and so go about here so you can see where they're going to move. Hit N and then move them down in the Y-axis till they're about in the middle of the finger. So that looks good. That looks really good for the pinky. So now hide the hand bone because we don't need that anymore. So hide this by selecting it, hitting J, or checking the I icon. Now go to your top view. Now let's name these. This is pinky 1 left. And just copy that and paste it, and it's number 2. And paste it, and it's number 3. Okay. So now with this, what we can do is we can duplicate this chain of bones, and we don't have to manually do it. Let's just do this. Let's go. Hold the control down, click, and drag back onto the hand. Now name these ring 1 left, ring 2 left, and ring 3 left. Okay. Now grab that first one, hit N to go into manipulator, move it over to the next finger, about put it where the pivot point where you want it to be, and then hit S to size. Oops. S. Move it up till that hits that knuckle, and then grab this one, hit S, and bring it back down till it hits that knuckle. Okay. Now let's do it again. So select ring 1 left, hold down control, drag it onto the hand again. Now we need to rename this middle 1 left. Copy that, paste it there, that's 2. Paste it there, that's 3. And then go grab number 1, hit N, and move it over again to its pivot point. Hit S to scale it up so that that hits that knuckle, and end right here hits that knuckle. Now you can see these pivot points here. This is the middle of the knuckle right here, and I'm putting the pivot point right in the middle of that. That way it will deform the best with how I've modeled it. Okay. So let's do it one more time for the top finger, for the index finger. So let's grab that middle one, hold down control, drag it back onto the hand. Let's rename this index 1 left. Hit copy, paste number 2, paste number 3. Okay. So now grab number 1, hit N, put it at its pivot point out there. Move it down just a little more, and then scale it. That one almost went perfect, so let's just make sure. Move this one up, or scale this one up just slightly more. Right there. Okay. So now I've got the 4 fingers. Let's move these all into position. You can see here how they're all level. So let's grab N, move it up slightly, N, move it up slightly, and then N, and move it up just slightly. Now you can see how they're all pretty much right in the center of the fingers, which is where we want them to be. So let's go to our top view again. Now let's do this one more time. And thumb 1 left, thumb 1 right. Oops, not right. Thumb 2 left, and thumb 3 left. Okay. So now grab this one, hit N, and let's bring its pivot point back to about right here. I want it to be down low. Hit R to rotate it out towards there, and then in your tumble view, move this pivot point up a little more. Let's actually move it out just slightly here. Move it down here. So it's pretty much right in the smack middle of that palm of the hand. I just want to make sure that it's kind of in that place. The nice thing about Animation Master is I can always go back and reposition bones after I've animated and to make it look better if I need to. So let's hit R to rotate it and rotate it down this way. So it's going straight down the thumb. Okay, just come around this way. Now it looks like we're about exactly where we need it to be. So let's oops, let's click this one and size it up just a little bit more right there, and then this one, hit S and scale it up just a little bit more. So there we go. Now it's going right down the thumb. Now what we want to do is, if I look at my thumb, the fingernail is pointing upwards this way. And what I want to do is I actually want the roll handle, if I go to my top view, and remember how we did on the fingers, they're going out the side of the fingers like this. That way it rotates, the fingers will rotate on their y-axis, and we want the same thing to do with the thumb. So let's go back to our thumb view by hitting 7, and you can see how the roll handle is pointing down the base of the thumb, so I actually want to grab it and rotate it so it's moving up this way. Now if I look at this along my Z, or along the Z rotation, you can see it move. I'm going to put it about right there. So it's negative 5.61, so duplicate that here, negative 5.61, and this one, negative 5.61. So now they're all pointing out the side of the finger. That will allow the knuckles to roll, or to rotate on their y-axis, which is what I want to happen. So let's leave it like that, and I think that's good for all the hand bones. Let's save it real quick so don't lose any information. Now you can unhide the hand bone and you can see where it's at. So now I've pretty much got every bone for geometry that I need. If I go to my front view, you can see I've got my pelvis, my legs, or my leg, and these two sides right here. Okay, so this is how we put in the geometry bones. We've got all the ones that we need in, and so from here on we will just be working on one side of the model. When we're all done, we will flip everything over to the other side and assign the points over there. So for right now, that's it for this tutorial for putting in the geometry bones.